Hello again, everyone. This is Jan Monahan for Rapping with Jan. I need to apologize in advance. I thought that my camera was on, and I'd already prepared my work surface and started working when I realized no, it wasn't. So what I've done here is I have taped a piece of cream-colored cardstock to my work surface, and I've started blending with my blending brush. And the colors I'm using are peeled paint, fossilized amber, and faded jeans, and they're all from the Distress Oxide line. We're doing 3 projects today, and they're all from the, excuse me, they are all from the July Hero Arts Kit, and it's all about staying at the lake, camping at the lake, staying at a lodge, anywhere. I think most of us have fond memories of whether it was a lake or an ocean. We have fond memories of what it was. And right now we're just going to make a very peaceful scene of a man fishing with his dog. I made several attempts, and many of them failed. I wanted to make this scene look like early morning. That always seemed to be the time that my father went out fishing. I tried several colors of blue, and they all seemed to blend in with the lake, so I finally decided on the green and, of course, the yellow for the sun coming up on the horizon. Right now I'm using the blue color from the kit to create waves on the lake. What am I saying? They're not waves, they're ripples. I had originally wanted to make this card with my Post-it note tape, but my grandchildren were here over the weekend, and at this point I'm not quite sure where it is. So let's finish up with the ripples in the water, and we'll be heading on to I guess you'd call them the silhouettes of the card. For the silhouettes of this card, I'm going to be using Simon Says stamp, and I believe it's intense black. That's right. There are lots of other colors that I could have used here besides black. I wanted all the silhouettes to stand out. This kit came with a very dark brown and a very deep green, a forest green, I believe it was. And I tried this on another card, or tried those on another card, and they just didn't have the effect that the black ink did. I had to move the tape very carefully because I stole this from my husband's workbench, and you have to remove painter's tape very carefully not to take part of the card with you. As I was stamping these cattails, I was looking at the detail of the stamp, and I thought about 30 years ago when I started this journey, or what my husband calls my illness, how really undefined the rubber stamps were. Back, like I said, 30 years ago. And I think of all the blocks that I had, and I still have a cabinet full of wooden block stamps. I don't use them very much anymore, but I'm not ready to get rid of them yet. I guess I'm a hoarder. Don't tell anybody. All right, now this is how you take off painter's tape. It kind of folded over on itself, and there it comes off, and I didn't ruin the card. Ideally, it's better if you use washi tape, post-it tape, purple tape, anything that is designed specifically when you use products that involve paper. All right, now I'm going to stamp the sentiment, and I think this would make a very, very nice masculine card. It's tough to make masculine cards, but this particular stamp set makes it easy. And since you already started watching me make this card, I won't put you through the pain of watching me make an envelope. So let's get on to project number 2. Okay, project number 2 uses this really versatile background stamp. It's called Round and Round. And since it's a background stamp, it has its own foam backing. And when we use the MISTI, we won't need the piece of foam that comes with the MISTI. So we need to take that out and replace whatever paper we have. And then we can put the cardstock and the background stamp in the MISTI without any trouble. Here we go. I'll start with a piece of cream color stock or beige color stock, and I'm going to use my anti-static powder tool to prevent the embossing powder getting into places that I don't want it to. I'll also be using Versamark ink, and this is a really excellent ink for embossing. And I'm going to put it all over the background stamp. These background stamps make me a little nervous because I can't use the magnets with them because I won't be able to get a good image. And I'm always afraid that the cardstock will stick and then I won't be able to reposition my cardstock. But I got lucky this time, and as you'll see, it didn't stick. I guess the only word of advice I would have is to use washi tape or post-it tape, anything like that would keep it in place and you don't have a double image. Now I'm going to use some of the, what is this? It's called Blue Pearl, and this is the embossing powder that came with the kit. And this is it's like pouring sand on the paper. It has very big granules of embossing powder. It's almost not a powder, but and I think I probably could have used a different powder to make these circles be more apparent. And always put your embossing powder back in its container. I had a girlfriend that she called me. She said, "I'm going through this embossing powder like crazy." And I said, "Well, I'll come over and I'll see how you're doing it. Maybe I can help." Well, she'd pour it on the cardstock and she'd pour it into the wastebasket. And I said, no, don't pour it into the wastebasket. It's good stuff. It can be used and used and used. And she didn't have any problem with that from then on. So I have hit this with my heat tool, and although you can't see the circles on there, they are there. If the camera kind of hides that, but if you had an unaided eye, you would be able to see all the circles and intertwining circles. And I'm going to start blending this in, and the circles will become more apparent. But I'm not going to bore you with all that. I've sped this up quite a bit, and I'm hoping that these, well, you can see them. The darker the ink becomes, the more apparent the circles show up. This is the color Dusty Blue that came with the kit. I wanted to make this card front look like a lake. And as I progressed with this, I thought, well, yeah, this would make a nice masculine card. But I think I'd like to receive this as an invitation to someone's lake house. And it would make a nice invitation. For the next few seconds in this video, I'm going to be taking the images from the stamp kit and kind of jockeying them around to see what looks best. I am using Simon Says Stamp black ink, and I'm just going to let you watch. I promise I'll move the Misty into the middle of the screen. Sometimes I get so involved I fail to notice what the camera is seeing, and therefore what you're seeing. There we go. I try to keep my promises. I wanted to position these kids kind of close to the fisherman's boat. When my dad was fishing, we would purposely jump off the dock and land toward his boat. And, you guys, you're scaring the fish. Well, that's what we wanted to do. Hopes that he didn't catch anything and we could go to McDonald's. All right, once again, I'm going to speed this up so nobody gets bored. I really don't know what we would do or what we did prior to the invention of the Misty. I can remember ruining plenty of projects because I didn't get things lined up like I wanted them to. Those wooden blocks weren't conducive to matching things up. Okay, now the basic card is finished, and from my stash, I have sequins, and I went through and I tried to get the ones that match the best. And I'm using Gina K Connect glue. This glue works like any other glue, but I've noticed that the nozzle doesn't get plugged up. And I'm not sure what Gina did, but whatever she did a good job. And I'm going to put these on now. And I have fat fingers. I admit it. I have fat fingers. And this tool I'm using is called the jewel picker tool. And it's got, I think, just a little bit of wax on the end of it, and just enough to pick up sequins and little pieces of paper. And so if you're all thumbs, or you were blessed with fat fingers like I am, this is probably one of the best tools for you to use. As you can see, I have done the envelope in a similar fashion as the card. I was disappointed with this card. It just didn't turn out the way I thought it should. All right, now on to my favorite project. This is project number 3, and I've got one of those giant Tim Holtz, is it a gift tag? Is it a shipping tag? I'm not quite sure. I guess it's just a tag. And I'm using all the colors from the kit, and I'm using a lot of the background scenery. I must admit, when I opened up the kit and started cutting up the dies here, these are the first dies that I have seen. All the mountains and the trees, they don't have like a bottom part that cuts it out. You have to kind of do that yourself. And this is the first time I've seen anything like that. And I was a little leery of how it would turn out, but it worked. Okay, once again, I'm going to speed this up so you won't get bored. And then I'm going to die cut these, and I'll be back as soon as all this is done. Okay, I've gotten everything cut out, and I was right. Those background scenery, the dies cut just fine. I had to introduce another color of blue. Everything was blending together, and it's Altenews Arctic. And again, I'm speeding this up so you folks won't get bored. And once I finish blending these two colors, I've done my best to separate them. And but when the blending is finished, then we can start building our scenery. Okay. I had trouble deciding what should go where, and I'm going to speed this up again after I decide how to put this card together. I wish I had this set of stamps last Christmas, because this would have been a perfect gift tag for my youngest daughter. She's my little rough and tumble, except she's not so little anymore. But anyway, we gave her a kayak, and had a lot. We had to talk to the neighbors. Can you store this, please? Because she's the type that will look around the house and in the trunks and in the closets and everywhere. But we finally found a nice neighbor that would let us do that. And on Christmas morning, there was this big blue kayak, and she was elated. I had to do some moving around of these trees. I wasn't quite sure how I wanted them to look, and I didn't want it to look like there was an inlet. I just wanted it to be just a nice quiet scene. I went ahead and put this I don't know what a containment boom or lane lines or whatever, because I wanted to make it look inviting, but I didn't want to have any human beings in them. I wanted to make it look like early morning. I was ready to put on the sentiment for the tag, and I hadn't used this one. It's your birthday, relax and enjoy. And I think this is a very relaxing scene. I think if I'd put bodies in it, it probably wouldn't be so relaxing. On the bottom of this tag, as soon as I move my hand, there I put the foliage in on one side of the dock, and then I went ahead and I had a terrible time trying to get the inner tube to stay on the dock. I don't like to waste anything, so I took the green and blue raffia from the kit and used it for a place to hang the tag. All I did was double it, and then I stuck the doubled end through the reinforced opening there at the top. There you go. It's a double, and then pulled it through. And then the tails on the other end go right through there, and you have something that probably won't come off unless that reinforced opening is torn. And there you have it. A gift tag for a very large gift. A canoe, a bicycle, kayak, I don't know, maybe a jet ski. Ooh, that would kind of ruin this peaceful scene, wouldn't it? Well, anyway, that's the third and final project that I've got. If you like what you see, give me a thumbs up and sign up for my YouTube channel. And I'll see you next time.